Peace didn't break overnight, it collapsed slowly and then all at once. Cross is on the verge of death. Tokyo is drowning in curses, and coexistence is already falling apart. Chapter 13 reveals what the gunshot truly destroyed. Not just Cross's body, but the last real chance at peace. Yuji's fate finally becomes clear, and Nobara's voice confirms the price he's been paying. Then Chapter 14 pushes Modulo past the point of no return. A duel is declared. Two brothers draw their swords, one to save his people, the other to save his sister. This isn't build-up anymore. This is where Modulo turns into war, and from here on out, Dabura isn't a character, he's a disaster. Let's break down Chapters 13 and 14 of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. Chapter 13 opens in a hospital. Cross lies in critical condition. After being shot by jujutsu sorcerers in the previous chapter, his injuries are so severe that he could die at any moment. Maru stands beside his unconscious younger brother, unable to look away. He turns to the other Remelians, asking the question weighed on everyone's mind. What happened? They explain that Earthlings shot Cross because they believed he was drawing a sword. Maru asks the question everyone is thinking. Was Cross actually reaching for his weapon? Osuki answers immediately. If Cross had wanted to kill weak sorcerers, none of them would have survived even a second. Cross never intended to attack anyone. Jabaloma adds that until the very end, Cross was trying to find a peaceful path, a way for Simurians and Earthlings to coexist. Hearing this, Osuki snaps. Don't talk like he's already dead. But the truth is brutal. Cross's condition is nearly hopeless. And anyone familiar with Gege Akutami's writing knows the reality. No character is ever truly safe. Maru hears all of this. He says nothing. No anger, no tears, just a quiet, terrifying stillness as he stares at Cross's body. Elsewhere, Tsurugi receives devastating news. Jujutsu High's healer tells him that Usami is also in critical condition. Even first-grade reverse curse technique users were unable to heal him. Tsurugi is stunned. How is that possible? Usami is grade 1. That's when Miyaguni, one of the higher-ups, explains the truth. Usami used cursed speech on Dabura. And Dabura is not something that can be measured by the standard sorcerer ranking system. He is a calamity-level existence. Using cursed speech on someone like that caused catastrophic recoil, destroying Usami's throat, organs, and nervous system. The chapter then takes us back to Tokyo, right after Cross was shot. When Dabura arrived, his presence alone crushed the battlefield. Sorcerers froze. No one could move. As some Simurians rushed Cross away for emergency treatment, others accused Earth of exterminating Kalyans. Yakumaru shouts back, "These aren't Kalyans, they're cursed spirits." Before he could say another word, Dabura appeared directly in front of him, towering over him. Yakumaru couldn't even respond. Sensing imminent disaster, Usami activated cursed speech. Don't move. But Dabura was faster. In a single instant, he destroyed Yakumaru's right arm. Usami immediately suffered massive recoil. Blood poured from his mouth. His throat tore apart. And yet, Usami bowed. He apologized. He begged Dabura to give peace another chance. Believing Cross would die, Dabura calmly declared, 13 sorcerers are not enough to repay one life. He threatened to kill every subordinate present. Usami broke, then kill me instead. That resolve reminded Dabura of Dura, and that memory changed everything. Dabura turned away. He ordered the Simurians to withdraw. Quietly, to himself, he muttered, "Once again, it's the Kalyans. No one else died that day." Moments later, Usami collapsed, barely clinging to life. After the incident, the Remelians issued an official demand. Japan must cease all cursed spirit exorcisms and guarantee the protection of cursed spirits. Jujutsu headquarters immediately realized the problem. If cursed spirits aren't exorcised, they will eventually escape Tokyo's barriers and spread across the entire country. Low-grade curses might be manageable, but grade 2 and above would be catastrophic. Another Shibuya-level disaster is inevitable. Then the discussion turns to Cross. Normally, reverse curse technique can heal even critical injuries. But if Cross's internal organs are damaged, or if Simurian biology differs fundamentally, human RCT may be ineffective or even harmful, and attempting to save him would look staged, since they were the ones who shot him. Mino estimates the barrier can hold for only 1 month. In the end, they agree to a temporary suspension of all exorcisms. By December, the situation becomes unbearable. Sorcerers begin secretly performing nighttime exorcisms, praying the Simurians won't notice. Above Tokyo, aboard the Naunax, Osuki hears them. The dying cries of cursed spirits. Tears stream from his third eye. Japan's refusal has consequences. The Simurians declare the extermination of cursed spirits an international crime. Japan responds that exorcisms are force majeure, beyond the bounds of law. Another month passes, winter strengthens the curses. Sorcerer casualties reach unprecedented levels. Osuki continues listening, ignoring warnings about the toll on his third eye. When Dabura orders him to stop, Osuki snaps. "You can't hear them because you're not one of us. You're Deskunte." Dabura says nothing, he accepts it. The Remelians make their decision. They demand the annexation of Tokyo, proposing to turn it into a new nation dedicated to protecting cursed spirits. And if Japan refuses, a Deskunte-style duel will decide everything. Strongest versus strongest. Winner decides the future. At Jujutsu headquarters, some suggest abandoning Tokyo. Others refuse. If Tokyo falls, future generations will suffer. Miyaguni speaks clearly. Only one person can face Dabura, Yuji Itadori. But Mino shakes his head. He hasn't been able to contact Yuji. Then a recording plays. An elderly Nobara Kugisaki appears on the screen. Yes, Nobara, but aged, her features marked by time. She reveals the truth. Yuji disappeared after Hanakurusu's funeral. That day, he said he would never attend another funeral again, she explains. Even though he looks like a musclehead, he is surprisingly sensitive. He just can't bear to see anyone else go. He stopped aging. He became immortal. She admits it was difficult for her as well. Every time she saw him, it reminded her how much she had aged. Though she had come to accept it, she could not bear seeing Yuji feel bad about it. His guilt and sadness over her aging were unbearable for her. That endless lifespan had become his curse. Finally, she ends the message firmly. "So, if you happen to see him, give him a message from me. Don't look down on me, idiot." On January 2087, the Remelian tribe makes its move. Dabura, speaking for his people, formally issues a challenge to Japan to protect the cursed spirits and claim Tokyo for Remelia. In response, Japan selected Yuka Okotsu as Earth's champion for a decisive duel, a role she accepted despite the burden of her terminal illness, stepping into a fate that would determine the balance between worlds. With that, Chapter 13 ends here. Chapter 14 opens with Mino and Miyaguni. He asks the question everyone fears. Are you really going to let Yuka fight Dabura, even knowing she's sick? Miyaguni doesn't hesitate. She says Yuka is Japan's only option. Even if Japan deployed the entire JSDF, and even if the US military joined in, they still wouldn't be enough to defeat Dabura. And worse, that kind of response would only lead to mass civilian casualties. Mino suggests the unthinkable. What about nuclear weapons? Miyaguni shuts it down immediately. No country wants to be responsible for nuking Japan again, and because Japan is considered a latent nuclear power, with the technology and materials to build nuclear weapons, the United Nations has effectively washed its hands, implying Japan should do it alone if it comes to that. Miyaguni bitterly remarks, Japan has no allies here, only expectations and blame. Elsewhere, Maru walks alone. He thinks about when it became difficult to speak to his younger brother Cross. A flashback begins. After their village was destroyed, Cross handed Maru a stone their father had clutched until his final breath. Cross believed it was Maul, but Maru realized the truth immediately. It was just an ordinary rock. Maru smashed it. He stomped on the fragments, screaming about how their father abandoned them, his family, his duty as a warrior, all for an obsession that meant nothing. Cross cried. Maru told him to forget their father entirely, but Maru never told Cross the truth. He carried that burden alone. Later, after Dabura killed Dura when Maru tried to attack him in rage, Cross restrained him. Cross said Maru had been acting strange. Only now does Maru understand. His obsession with being a warrior, his stubborn pride, he's been hurting Cross all along. And now, he wished he could apologize. But he may never get the chance to apologize. Meanwhile, Tsurugi wanders through an abandoned building, deep in thought. The Simurian story doesn't add up. Their society doesn't resemble any modern nation on Earth, yet Simurians themselves are eerily human. But one detail bothers him most. The Non-Ax, a spacecraft capable of interstellar travel, built in an impossibly short amount of time, despite Remelian technology being primitive. And more than that, the Non-Ax can carry 50,000 people. That shouldn't be possible. Tsurugi eventually finds Maru and confronts him directly. You did this, didn't you? He explains his theory. The Non-X was built using Mol, a substance that reacts not only to cursed energy, but to cursed techniques themselves. And Maru used this cursed technique to move the ship across space. Maru corrects him. It wasn't just him. The Non-X was built using high-purity Mol left behind by Dura, and both Maru and Cross used their techniques together. That's how it was possible. That's why Maru can locate Tsurugi anywhere. That's why they can speak Japanese. It's the same technique. Tsurugi asks the hardest question. Why don't the Remelians just leave leave Earth, Maru answers quietly. They can't. Once the Simurians learned about the Kalyans, what humans call cursed spirits, leaving became impossible. Tsurugi brings up the duel. Yuka versus Dabura. Maru says it plainly. Yuka can't win. Tsurugi admits he has learned the truth about Yuka's illness, and how quickly it's progressing. He explains her plan. Yuka intends to use a binding vow. If she's going to die soon, she wants it to mean something. Maru understands binding vows, but even that won't be enough against Dabura. As Yuka's older brother Tsurugi snaps, he doesn't want her to die. Not today. If she has 3 months left, he wants her to live them. Even 1 more week, even tomorrow. As her older brother, that is his duty. He draws on Oyagi and asks Maru one last time, "Please, Maru, take the Simurians and leave Japan." Maru refuses. It's impossible. There are 50,000 Simurians aboard the Nonax, women and children. Even with cursed techniques, the journey to Earth took nearly 2 years. 2 years of fear. 2 years drifting through space. Simuria is gone, and there is no guarantee another planet even exists. Leaving Earth is not an option. Maru removes the plaster covering his third eye. He draws his sword. Tsurugi unsheaths his blade and shouts, "Get out of here, Maru." Maru shouts back, "That won't happen, because I am a warrior." The clash begins. At the same time, Yuka boards a plane, eyes set forward, heading toward her fate. The duel is about to start. The main story ends here, but a bonus comedy story follows. Maru reads about speedrunning and decides to try it himself. He approaches Dabura and tells him the Simurians need his measurements for a dinner outfit. Dabura refuses to walk around. "Just guess," he says. Maru immediately celebrates. Speedrun complete. Dabura is deeply confused. Later, Maru reads the Rakugo story Manji Kawaii. Inspired, he tries the same trick on Tsurugi and Yuka. They talk about fears. Yuka says Tsurugi is afraid of Miyaguni. She admits she's afraid of cockroaches. Maru lies and says he's afraid of Manju. Yuka instantly offers him hot tea instead, completely skipping the punchline. Maru has been outplayed. Chapter 14 ends here with both tension and laughter shared. Chapters 13 and 14 mark the point of no return. Cross lies on the edge of death, not because of hatred, but because he was mistaken for a threat. Maru finally realizes what his silence, his obsession, and his duty as a warrior have cost him. And now, the apology he wants to give may come too late. At the same time, the world refuses to slow down. Japan cannot stop exorcising curses. Simurians cannot accept the death of their gods. And coexistence collapses under the weight of reality. So the answer becomes simple, a duel, not because either side wants war, but because neither side can afford to lose. Yuka steps forward, fully prepared to trade her life for time. Dabura stands as an unstoppable calamity, and somewhere in the background, Yuji still exists. Unchanged, immortal, and silent. The war has already begun. It began the moment the swords were drawn, and from that moment on, there is no turning back. Let me know in the comments, do you think Yuka can actually win this duel? Or is Yuji's return the only way this ends? And I'll see you in the next chapter breakdown.